Real talk, raw truth, raging hearts. Welcome to From the Minds of Raging Brats. Like, share, and subscribe.
Hi, welcome to From the Minds of Raging Brats. I'm Heather.
I'm Ashley.
I'll ask you how your week is in a minute. Hey, everybody, just in case you are not into metaphysical, quantum physics, timeline shifts, Mandela Effect type conversation, you might want to tune out now. Thanks. This episode is going to be about Mandela effects and timeline shifts, and those that hang out and stay, we really hope you enjoy the conversation. And if you want to comment and leave your own input, we would love to hear it. So now that I've given that disclaimer, because I really don't want people to sit into this one if they're not interested, because this isn't going to be our typical mental health type discussion. How was your week?
It's been very up and down. As you know, I've been giddy and then mad and then happy and then flustered and then just damn right annoyed that it's all happening. How's your week been?
I feel all of that energy, and I'm really solidifying my boundaries because the universe was like, we need to see action of what you want, not just what you're getting rid of. I really had to sit back and look at the people that I've been putting energy into or giving energy to in the romantic sense, not speaking about my friendships and stuff, because you guys are solid. Literally the most secure relationships in my life are you and Brittany, Bear, absolutely rock solid relationships. So because I have those solid relationships, I don't stress about the ones that come and go, if that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I still have emotions. I'm human, so it hurts when I have to end relationships, but not the way it used to.
Yeah.
And this week I had to really look at where my energy was going and be like, okay, this is not showing me that I am valued in some places, and I had to be like, that's not okay with me. So as much as I wish that things were different, I'm gonna have to cut this connection. And that was difficult. And emotions hit me in waves still. And then I was told that it was confirmed that family members interfered in my last relationship. And then I was given a semi-detailed sex history about my ex, and I was pretty furious, actually. I literally looked up and I was like, do you think it matters to me who my ex was with before they were with me? I don't think about stuff like that. It doesn't, I'm not like, oh my God, you slept with so and so. I mean, unless you're bringing me a disease, and then we got problems. But otherwise, I don't care. You're with me, and that's all that matters. And when you're not with me anymore, then who you're with after me is none of my fucking business either.
And that's how it should be.
Besides, like I said, I have somebody that I currently am putting energy into that is putting energy back, and we'll see where it goes. There's no promises, no guarantees, but it's definitely going in a direction I enjoy. So I'm willing to explore that while staying open, because you never know. I'm not I jokingly put up the meme the other day. I probably flipped off my soulmate in traffic because they were doing 60 and a 60.
Yeah, you probably have. And if they're from this area, more than once.
Oh boy, that's the truth. Ooh. My fucking country ass can't help it either. I'll be like, you gotta be a 50, but just
Oh, I know. I've seen you flip out and be like, he's cute too. The stupid cute mother. I'm like, okay.
Listen, being crazy is hard some days, and I don't deny that I am crazy. I just am the fun kind of crazy if you accept me for who I am.
Yeah.
It's when you try to box me in that I get the psycho kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you definitely know, like, I'm having a day of being crazy is hard. I wish I wasn't this crazy. Like, there's no fixing this crazy, but like, at least it's
I know when
entertaining
you
for other
texted me that,
people.
when you texted me that, I literally before I sent you that being hard is crazy and I love you, I just sat there and giggled and I was like, "Oh boy, do I know that feeling."
No, but great is I got that message, and before I got your message, right after I sent you like the reason I'm crazy, I once I sent it, I was like, why is being crazy this fucking hard?
And then I immediately reply with that and you're like, "All right."
Fuck it is, man. It really is.
Yeah, the sad part is my therapist told me on Friday that technically, other than the occasional dip, kind of like with the secure attachment, with the occasional dip in the anxious and avoidant, other than with the occasional dip into my bipolar and my BPD, that I am now normal with healthy communication style.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most terrifying thing a therapist has ever said to me.
Yeah, I can't lie. Like, I think if a therapist were to ever say that to me, I'd be like, where's the fucking cameras? And where are you sending me? You're trying to get me to react, aren't you?
I think it's a good thing that she said it to me on a phone session so she couldn't see my face.
Yeah.
Because, to be honest, I was a little bit like, oh, no, that can't happen. And then I heard, is that what you want to set in for the next 6 to 12 years? And I went, fuck that.
I'm healthy, thank you.
I am normal, man. In my head, I'm just like, what does that mean?
Nobody told me how to deal with this. Shit.
I know that I go off the rails sometimes. What is that going to mean for me once they told me I'm normal now? I'm normal. I'm supposed to act normal. What is acting normal?
Yeah. I can say, like, and I know having my own place is a big reason, but I think it will be easier for me to lock in the energy of I'm finally fucking happy. Like, I can take a breath. I am comfortable. I am getting back to the person, not the person that I was, because y'all know I didn't like all of who I was, but the parts I liked the most, and I am getting back. And I feel so much more at peace than I probably have in the last 10 years. That it's, I hope that's the energy I'm locking in. Like, and me getting out of my comfort zone for certain things and talking to people. I don't do that. I don't like talking. I don't like flirting. I don't like people giving me attention most of the time. Like, but lately I'm like, oh, that's kind of nice. Aw.
Flirting's fun. I actually really enjoy it. Although I would, much like you, I would much more prefer if he was just here. I could like give me in person, up close attention. I would return the favor.
Right? Not selfish.
But honestly, I will say it was super hard to end things with my ex because like he still has part of my heart. And even though we never like started dating again, we were just getting to know each other again, supposedly in the hopes of dating again. Like I had high hopes because, you know, the universe said he had done the work. They did say it was on me to evaluate whether he did or not, but Like they were like, this is the real deal. He's done the work. Otherwise, you know me, I wouldn't have entertained my ex coming back. I would have been like, cool, hi, yeah. And he'd have been like, you still feel things for me? Cool, dude. You can totally be my buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm that kind of person. I'll let you be my friend.
Yeah.
But I'm like really boundaries about that. Like, don't get it twisted, because you start telling people that there might be more between us, and I'm going to tell all the people you just told them in front of you that ain't never going to be a thing. And it's going to be vicious because you didn't understand the boundary when I told you it in private and dignified.
Yeah.
And I don't like humiliating people or making them feel bad, so don't do that to me.
Oh, see, this is where, like, why we're besties. You don't like doing that, but I do. I actively don't do it out of the kindness of my heart. But if you're gonna do some shit, that is permission for me to show you what kind of asshole I really am.
I prefer that kind of stuff in a contained setting, and usually I only like degradation in a sexual kink kind of.
Oh no, I like it that way, but no, if you're gonna fuck me over, yeah, I'm going to be happy to degrade you, but I'm not gonna just do it to a random person. Like, you gotta earn that shit. Like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings unless they're trying to hurt mine.
Right. And then I don't really care. Oh, before we get started, also on a side note, my daughter is going to be moving back. She's coming to visit in November. Yeah.
Okay.
And then she'll be moving back in February.
That's awesome.
I'm so excited to have her back up here. I miss her a lot. Honestly, though, I'm thinking about possibly, since we're going to go ahead and dip into this and probably other metaphysical topics in the future, I'm thinking about maybe talking to her and Brittany and getting both of them on an episode with us about different witchy practices, because we all have different practices.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that was the first time in a long recently that I had done anything witchy, and it immediately paid off to the point where I'm like, I don't fuck with the old gods. They're a little too receptive to me sometimes.
No, that's just when you stand in your power, you see what you can do, and when you don't, shit goes sideways.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I have to be very careful about what I do and how I do it. I don't want to piss anybody off. I ain't trying to take nobody's free will or bring any worse juju to myself. Like, I'm very careful about it now.
It's all intention. It's all intention. Is your intention to cause harm, or is your intention just protection, love, whatever? I mean, obviously not no love spells. That is one thing that I just don't do. People are like, can you do love spell, a self-love? And they're like, no, I mean, like a love spell. I'm like, never. They're like, why? I'm like, that is violating somebody's free will. If you do self-love, though, you're going to draw in what you're wanting, because you're going to affirm yourself and your self-worth and what you want, and your boundaries are going to get stronger. And all of a sudden, the kind of man you're looking for is going to be drawn to you too. Might not happen overnight, and that's what all of us get pissed about, is like, okay, I made the choice, and then we want like to wake up in the morning to, I'm here, babe. And when that doesn't happen, we're like, listen, that is not what I said, universe. I said at my door when I awoke.
Yeah, like, I joke all the time, some motherfucker's gonna have to rob me for me to meet my soulmate, and unfortunately with the people I'm around, they're like, we could arrange it. I just need one word of consent, but we could. I'll make it seem real. I'm like, no, I have to know, because there's a part of my brain that's waiting for somebody to break into my house. So, no, gotta know you're gonna do it.
Yeah, you might want to tell me you're coming.
It's not my fault what happens to you if you don't.
I'm just gonna say I'm not allowed to own firearms, but it is dangerous to come up in my house if I don't know you're here. You're coming.
I ain't saying
I
shit
am.
about what I got.
I'm just saying. People think that because I'm a felon that makes me more vulnerable. Okay, test that boundary. Test
Mm-mm.
those limits.
And
I would love to have a reason
and
not to go back to prison.
I had an uncle, and he had multiple felonies for some bullshit, but he was also a truck driver, so couldn't carry a gun, couldn't carry a lot, but he was native. So what he could carry was a fucking tomahawk, and he turned that tomahawk basically into a boomerang tomahawk that he kept right in his door. Like, I was like, you know what? It would be kinder if you just shot a motherfucker. He's like, I know.
And
We're like, I'm abiding by the law, though. Okay.
yeah, sometimes the law has some catch-22 that just don't make no damn sense.
Yes.
All right. Let's move into the Mandela effects and timeline shifts. Just for starters, so that everybody knows, the reason that Mandela effect is called Mandela effect because the most prominent, famous Mandela effect is Nelson Mandela. Because a good majority of the world, myself included, very much remembers his death in the 1980s. The weird and twisted part for me is that I remember his death in the 1980s and his death in the 2013.
So, what I remember is being told, like, he was a leader, he was inspiring to his people, but he had died. And then I remember hearing he got out of prison. And then I remembered hearing he died again, like, and I swore I heard this in school. And then they're like, no, none of that happened. I'm like, no, you're not gonna tell me. I know my history teacher wasn't that bright, but nah, I remember this.
So, to start our conversation off, because how I got onto this topic that I wanted us to talk about was specifically, I was talking to Rowan about how I remember both very clearly. And I'm like, and now that I'm at where I'm at in my spiritual and mental health practice, like across the board, I'm stable. I feel like grounded and rational. I don't feel like I'm coming from left field on any of this shit. I'm like, I feel like the reason is because as I healed and progressed my spiritual practice, I have shifted timelines. And Rowan was like, you will never get people to believe that. And I told him, I said, okay, so DC and Marvel can have all these multiverses and people can talk about quantum theory and string theory and timeline shifts, but it being actually in practice is too irrational to be real.
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
I get it. Like, if you do not educate yourself to a certain degree, it sounds like it can be completely made up. Like, what the fuck do you mean you can jump a timeline and not even actively know it? But Hawking's had theories on this. Einstein had theories about this. Even if you look at ancient Roman and Greek, like, philosophers, they had theories about actually being able to step into a different time and things being slightly different. Like, so who are we to say? Like, I'm sorry, I ain't got an IQ nowhere near Einstein or Hawking, so who am I to say that they are wrong?
I don't think that they're necessarily wrong. I've got a pretty high IQ as well. I mean, I'm not on their level, but I'm up there. um and that's after abuse and
Mm-hmm.
lots of trauma and drug use, alcohol use throughout the years. Still, at this age, my IQ is pretty damn high, and I can't see why we can literally talk about it in science, not just science fiction, but in science,
Mm-hmm.
and then can't accept that we live in a reality where it is possible. Here's the thing. So then the idea of a Mandela effect, where something that you remember from your whole childhood was one way, and then one day half the world doesn't remember it that way, and when you look it up, it's not that way anymore. That doesn't what does that tell you about yourself? What do you internally say to yourself when that happens then? If you don't believe that it's possible to shift timelines, then do you tell yourself you're crazy, that you're the problem? Or do you tell yourself that the world's crazy and they're the problem? Like,
That's what most people
how do you
do.
cope with that? Because for me, my brain doesn't do that. My brain goes, error. That does not compute. What do you mean it can exist, but it's not existing and you're just fucking crazy, or the world's just fucking great? No, what?
And we had discussed this a little bit earlier. Like, I had read a theory about one of the reasons that people believe that there are multiple, like, time fractures now, which would attribute to Mandela effects, is because of messing with super colliders and messing basically with things we really shouldn't. Let's just be honest. And this person believes that the first time we kicked on a super collider, it fractured time and it sent it off on multiple different wavelengths. And that's why it's just slightly different, but people remember different timelines because they actually did fracture and live through different things.
I mean, and that's a good theory too. I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense to just think you or the world is crazy. Like, but it does make sense that you could be making active choices in your life and that could be changing your timeline.
Yeah.
Especially when people that lived at the same time are remembering things so differently. Like, if you lived at the same time period as somebody else and they remember, like, let's just look at the list. They remember the Berenstain Bears. When I grew up, it was the Berenstain Bears with an E. Now, apparently, it's the Berenstain Bears with an A. Okay, there are other people that grew up in my generation that say it was with an A. It was never with an A when I was growing up. But I've seen them now with an A. I've even seen people pull out their old books from that time frame and theirs had an A. Well, if that was the timeline you were in, it would.
That's just
I've also seen but I've also seen people show ones with an E. That means you guys were in the same timeline as me at that time.
See, that makes me want to go dig through some of Lakota's old books, because he has some of my old books, and see what it is.
Yeah, but I'm not sitting here going, "Oh, well, that can't be possible." I'm like, just because I remember it one way and it's some way different now doesn't mean either one of us is wrong.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
That's like Oscar Mayer. When we were a kid, the Oscar Mayer wiener commercial or the Oscar Mayer bologna commercial, it literally spelled it.
Yeah.
MEYER. Now it's AR.
Oh, I didn't know that.
MEYAR. Oscar Mayer. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm not arguing, but I know that when I was a kid, it was not that, because every motherfucking kid I knew, we knew the song by heart and we sang it every fucking day.
Yeah. I definitely remember, especially like when I was younger, I remember having a certain teacher fucking hated that song, drove her nuts. So, of course, being fourth graders, we're like, every day, all day, anytime we see you. So yeah, that still was in my brain.
Yep. The one that I got the most angry about, and I will say when I heard this one, I actually got mad because this was before I was healing, really healing. This was before I really was thinking about timeline shifts. I was just mad. It was the Sinbad genie movie, Shazam, that
It's
now they
real.
say doesn't exist,
It,
and that it was Shaquille O'Neal and Kazam, and I'm like, y'all are fucking high.
I watched it. I remember watching it repeatedly. Actually, like I didn't realize it's because the adult women in my house looking at the nice black men. But yeah, I love that movie.
That's always a good one. Or Mr. Monopoly, the now he doesn't have a monocle, and I'm like, okay. All right, and they're saying that people are confusing that him having a monocle with Mr. Peanut from the Planters Peanuts,
Yeah.
um, because he has a monocle. Bullshit. And then a Fruit of the Loom logo. They say that it was only ever a fruit and not the cornucopia, but I only ever remembered the cornucopia. In fact, the first time I ever saw a package that didn't have it, I was like, why'd they change the logo?
Dude, my grandma's a hoarder. One of the things she hoards is clothes. Like, we got unopened clothes from, like, the 60s. I bet I could find some old Fruit of the Loom shit and see what the logo was like. And again, it might not be wrong. It's just maybe it could look different. I want to see. I'm curious. And knows.
Yeah, because when I was growing up, the cornucopia, it was a big thing because every year for Thanksgiving in school, we had to make them motherfuckers. So you knew what the fuck they were. Even little kids knew what they were. And it was always on the fucking Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah.
But now it's just fruit. The Curious George, they say he has no tail. When I grew up, he had a tail because he would knock shit off and yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I can't ever remember him having a tail. And again, I'm not saying you're wrong or anybody else, or it's just remembering it, or again, maybe just two different time frames.
Yeah, and listen, at that period, we might not even have been in the same timeline. It might not just be different time periods of seeing Curious George because he has adapted over the years. But the original Curious George had a long tail, and he would like when he was running from to hide from the man in the big yellow hat and stuff when he'd gotten in trouble, he would like swing off shit with his tail and stuff.
That sounds adorable.
This one pissed me off though. I will be honest, I don't care what timeline we shifted to, this one kind of pisses me off. It's the Darth Vader line where they say now it is no, I am your father, but I agree to disagree because it is always has and always will be Luke. I am your father. Yeah.
No, I clearly remember that. That was the moment of reveal. That was the moment.
Yep. Or Snow White, where it's magic mirror on the wall, and I don't ever remember magic mirror. It's always forever, even on my fucking Disney movie that I watched a couple weeks ago with the grandbabies. It was mirror on the wall, but apparently it's not now, and that's some bullshit.
No. See, like, that's the thing. Like, to a point, I'm like, yeah, things could be happening, and then there's another point. I'm like, and then people could just not be paying attention to certain things.
They're saying that people are getting it confused because the original Grimm's Brothers text was mirror, but Disney never did mirror. They did magic mirror. Here's the thing. I know lots of people that never even heard of Grimm's Brothers. They don't know that Snow White and a lot of Disney shows are fashioned after the Grimm's Brothers tales that were horrific in nature, not fluffy bunny tales like Disney made them.
Yeah, sorry, that's the type of shit I used to read Lakota before he could understand what I was saying. I'm like, if I'm going to read out loud for the next 2 hours to put you to bed, I'm going to enjoy it.
And then Kit Kat, I don't ever remember it being hyphened. I'm sure somebody does. I only remember what it is now, which is all one word with two capital K's.
Yep. I didn't pay attention. I'm sorry. I'm a chocolate fiend. If I know there's chocolate in that wrapper, I don't give a fuck what it says.
I didn't really know about the Febreze one. I honestly do remember 2 E's in Febreze, and now there's not, but I just thought it was a packaging change.
Yeah.
Rebranding. I didn't know it was the Mandela Effect. And then Looney Tunes, with the current one being tunes like music, TUNES, and the old one being TOONS. I remember both, so
Yeah.
again, I thought it was just a rebranding.
I don't remember either of those versions of it, so I don't know. I remember TOONZ.
Oh,
But
yeah. But that was on wasn't that on the Tiny Tunes or whatever, the one with Elmira?
you might be right. I don't know. It's been so long since I even watched those.
This one I didn't know about, but I do remember the before and the after where Skechers used to have a T in it. In fact, I remember them having a T up until 2003 when I went to prison.
Okay.
And then after prison, when I bought the next set of Skechers, but that was in 2015, 2014, they did not have a T, and I thought that was weird. But again, I chalked it all up to rebranding.
That's what
I didn't even know these are Mandela effects.
Yeah, I would never think about those because I would do the same thing. I'd be like, oh, they save money by knocking out a letter. Cool. I don't know.
Yeah. Jif peanut butter currently is Jif. Some people remember it as Jiffy. I don't remember that.
It's always been Jif. The ones Mom loved the best. Mm.
I do know why they would think the mix up with Jiffy Pop and Jiffy Cornbread because I have always known about those.
Yeah.
Sex in the City, I remember both, so that one doesn't. Again, I'm just like, somebody misprinted when they redid the thing, whatever, not a big deal, but apparently it's a thing. C-3PO's leg in Star Wars. People say right now he has one silver leg. I haven't seen it right now. I'd have to rewatch it, but I know that from childhood he was all gold.
Again, I've never watched a complete Star Wars, and when I was, that's not what I was paying attention to.
R2-D2 was white with little blue spots and silver on top, and C-3PO was completely gold.
Yeah, that's what I thought I remember. But again, I'm not the one that should be talking about Star Wars, so...
And Mr. Rogers' theme. Currently, it is It's a Beautiful Day in This Neighborhood, whereas me, myself, and apparently you remember It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Yes.
Would you be my neighbor? Forrest Gump line. Again, I didn't know about this one. This was all shit I pulled up when researching Mandela effects. Forrest Gump line. Apparently now it is life was like a box of chocolates, which kind of doesn't even make sense. But I always remember it being life is like a box of chocolates.
Mama always said life is like a box of chocolates. Like, and you're right. If it would have been the other way, like, how would she know that? Like, she wouldn't have said that.
No. Then there is another one I didn't know about, Field of Dreams line. Now, this one, again, is one of those that I'm like, okay, well, I'm in the alternate group because the current is if you build it, he will come. And I'm like, what the fuck? It isn't about a he. The movie is about a bunch of people. And it was if you build it, they will come. And they sure the fuck did. And apparently now Smokey the Bear is just Smokey Bear.
No, they are wrong. That's lies. Wrong.
We're just in a different timeline. Not wrong. It's irritating, but
the other timeline, I will like step in for this one thing. They're wrong. The other timeline, they're wrong. This is the right one. Smokey the Bear. Cute little baby bear.
well, and I think that like also sometimes there are merging points where like we're in the process of merging timelines, like how because Rowan and me, like, we bounced the ideas back and forth, and that was one of the things he shot back at me. Well, what do you think about this? And I was like, actually, that kind of makes sense about like how the Snow White for me still showed mirror mirror, even though it's magic mirror in this timeline. And I was like, oh, and he's like, yeah, what do you think about maybe that was like a merging point? And I was like, well, that would be kind of cool, but also it would make sense why in this new timeline where I'm getting this data field, I still saw a different timeline's reality.
Yeah.
I'm like, that would make sense as a merging point because it gives you a very clear shifting point where you can see that your reality says things are this way, but you can also see in your physical reality things are still a little bit this way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I actually found that comforting.
It's kind of
because
like
then it
when people were still taking like the shake photos. Sorry, I can't think of the name right now. Polaroid, and film would get transcended onto each other. You'd have just that little bit of the last picture on top of it, but predominantly it was the other one. It's like a trans of it. I can see that.
Yeah, and honestly, it's comforting because it's like then you get to see like actual live goalposts where you're making shifts.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I can see that I'm changing behaviors or I'm setting up new routines and things, but like, am I really making progress? And with those, you have actual major identifiers that you're making progress.
True. Very true.
Why pop culture knows? Again, Marvel, DC, everything everywhere all at once. Science and mystics have said this forever. Society embraces the metaphor in fiction, but then turn around and deny the lived truth. That's just kind of weird.
Well, we really want to get into like that's been happening for so long, whether it's with religions or just spoken words, like the way things change, not just on the way we view them, but as like, oh, this has to have been the way it was, and then nope. But what if it was the way it was? And then we shifted time frame, depending on what it is. Like, obviously, we know things about science after we know more. We know things about history, but what if certain things were? No, they actually were different.
I've always thought that movies and stuff like that come into play. I know this is a conspiracy theory, but it is one I believe. Movies and that are typically, whether they think the producers and whatnot think so or not, are typically approved and funded by government officials to desensitize the general public to things that are real, but they don't want them to believe in.
This is my favorite conspiracy theory. Out of all of them, and you know, like, maybe the audience doesn't know, they're like, okay, no, I'm a conspiracy nut. The fact I don't walk around with aluminum on my head is a damn miracle, because it doesn't work. But this is literally my favorite conspiracy theory. They're and just outside of LA, it's like Crystal recording something or another. It was actually owned by the CIA, and they made music there and movies that went into the mainstream media around 75 to 80. And they were all through, like, music, everything. And there's no evidence that ever stopped. They just moved locations. And I believe, just like you, that they allow just enough reality to, oh, these things are happening, but they put it in these movies. So then people, when they start to see these actual things happening, They're like, oh no, that only happens in movies, and they will give themselves every excuse in the fucking book to why this thing that is literally happening in front of them cannot be real. Or they don't care about it as much as they should.
I'll just leave you all, and I'm not going to get into it on this episode, but I'll just leave you all with one thought that never went past the initial publication, never had remakes. The Abyss. And think about our conversation from before, an ocean life. All right, so audience participation. Me and Ashley, we've talked about our memories, how most are the same, but some are different. We invite you to share what memories you have that are different or the same. Tell us any Mandela effects we didn't list here that you know of that maybe you'd like us to go further down the rabbit hole on. Or, we did touch on a little bit of conspiracy theorism. Feel free to drop your conspiracy theories. We would love to do some episodes on conspiracy theories. Deep dives. Those would just be fun.
And we've already done an audience requested episode. If you have anything specifically you would like us to talk about, let us know.
Yeah, we love hearing from you guys. In fact, I get kind of sad when I don't see comments on episodes because I love hearing from the audience. Even if you don't agree with me, I don't care. We don't have to have the same opinion. I don't care at all. And in fact, if we don't have the same opinion, I would love to get into the whys and how you might help me grow or vice versa. The Mandela Effect isn't just bad memory. It's proof of timeline shifts and merges. These are markers, not mistakes, in my eyes. I hope if that's not how you believe, you find a comforting way to process them. But for me, this is my lived reality. This is how I choose to believe. And this is what I see in my reality now. So, I mean, again, we'd love to hear your experience. And Ashley, do you have anything to add?
No, just that I hope all of our audience has a beautiful week and you keep seeing the good in life and things keep getting better for you.
Hey, and I'm going to throw her favorite phrase at y'all. Remember, the eclipse season is just ended. Well, no, the eclipse season has just ended. This specific eclipse season from the 8th to the 21st has just ended when y'all are seeing this. So I hope that y'all are enjoying your new cycle. And remember, boundaries like a motherfucker.
And rage responsibly.
Bye, guys.
We're also available on Spotify. We said what we said, and we're just getting started. Thanks for listening. Now go rage responsibly. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.